We have got some rapids ahead. Let's warm up with some open string blues. You know, so we don't like pull a muscle on that rock over there or something. We're gonna do it 3 different ways this time. The first time through is gonna be straight quarter notes. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. The second time through is gonna be our pepperoni pizzas from last time. Pepperoni pizza, pepperoni pizza. The third time is gonna be a new rhythm for our 5th graders and an old classic for the 6th grade. Oh look, a taco! Oh look, a taco. 1, 2, and a 1, 2, ready, go. Pepperoni pizza. Oh look, a taco. After these rapids, we still have 150 miles to go. This is what that question in your tutorial review assignment was talking about. It was warning you for right now. We've got 150 miles after these rapids, and we still got the rapids to deal with. So if you're planning on doing one that is gonna take 3 energy points, and you gotta go another 150 miles after this rapids, you need 6 energy points to do that. If you don't have the energy points to pull that off, hopefully you have energy bars or muffins, or I think deep fried fish heads is an option now, I don't know. Hopefully you got something to eat to make you go that far. If you don't have at least 6, then you might have to choose to do a different rapid, which would result in a lower game score, but not your class grade. Your grade is gonna still be based off as if that was a real normal evaluation test, whatever you call it. That's still the same. Doesn't matter which one you play. So back there at Laguna Rosa, we learned about where our fingers land on the fingerboard. If you're a cello, imagine my arm here is the cello neck. We learned that we have a 1st finger, and we don't use our 2nd finger yet, 3rd finger, and 4th finger. In order to play 4 notes on any of these strings, you could then play open, 1, 3, or 4. The violins and violas learned about our 2-3 position, where we keep our 2nd fingers and our 3rd fingers next to each other and gaps between here. And we could play our first 4 notes the same. Open, 1, 2, 3. We even have a 4th finger that we're going to use later. I also gave you a couple of little familiar tunes. At least I hope they're familiar. Batman, Addams Family, Jaws. You know those tunes, right? These rapids are gonna put those skills to the test. But first, let me introduce you to my buddy Wilson. Things you will need. 1, a felt tip marker, something like a Sharpie. 2, a right hand. Even if you're left-handed, you need to do it this way. 3, I can't snap as good with my left thumb. You need a left thumb. Now, I've mentioned before that I'm left-handed, so I cannot hold this thing very well at all with my right hand. But here we go. We're gonna draw a little Wilson on us. Oh no, am I out of ink? Oh man. No, it's kind of there. And you gotta give him eyeballs. There's Wilson. So Wilson was this character in this TV show that your parents probably used to watch when they were kids. He was the next door neighbor, and they just never showed his face. Just because. Until the series finale. I still remember that episode like it was yesterday. The build-up, the suspense. After all these years, are they gonna finally show his face? And they did. I was like 11 or 12 at the time, and it's my first memory of like really being genuinely underwhelmed. He just like walked out onto the set, face uncovered. The audience clapped, and it was like, oh, it's just a face. I bet Wilson is loving 2020. So what's all this talk about Wilson for? When you're holding your instrument on your shoulder like this, which I want you to try to start doing this. If you're still sending in guitar position videos, I encourage you to start getting it up on your shoulder. Making sure that shoulder's fitting there the right way, and you're making it nice and comfortable. You're gonna have the tendency to wanna hold the violin in like that. Don't do it. Remember, we wanna be able to hold this thing completely comfortably without having to hold it at all. So if we're relying on holding it here, then we're not actually holding it here the way we're supposed to. That's where Wilson comes into play. As we're holding our hand out this way, we want to make sure we stay nice and round so that we're playing with our fingertips, not flat to be playing with our fingerprints. If our violin is down here, we can't get the correct shape of our left hand. So Wilson is here as a reminder for you. Don't ever let the audience see his full face. Now remember, we're not holding our instrument in our left hand. But you should be holding the instrument in between Wilson's mouth and the side of your first finger, so that you still have all the range of your fingers to move around. And Wilson never shows his face. Cellos, you're just going to smush him. But you're going to smush him perpendicular to the neck. If you ever find yourself like this, that means you're doing something wrong with your wrist here. My orchestra teacher used to call this pizza wrist. And I never got the chance to ask him why. But I think it's because, like, imagine a guy holding like a pizza up above his head and his wrist is like broken at a 90 degree that way. Pizza wrist. It happens on cellos, like I was just showing you over there. if your thumb isn't perpendicular to the neck, it's gonna cause your wrist to break. Pizza wrist, not pizza wrist. Not pizza wrist forces your hand open and around so that you're playing with your fingertips. Pizza wrist gives you arthritis when you grow up. Pizza wrist will give you arthritis when you grow up. Not pizza wrist keeps your fingers and hand round so that your fingers can move around. Pizza wrist is not a part of the rubric to score these rapids. But you can't play with good tone, and you likely won't play consistent pitches if you use pizza wrist. You could use pizza wrist all day long and still score a 4 in a rhythm. But use pizza wrist even once, and you're not getting past these rapids. Number 13 on the trail is a lot like one from the last video, liftoff. So think of the same thing. You're keeping your fingers down, and when you play the F sharp, you're lifting off that G. You're lifting off the third finger to play the F sharp. Don't think of it as putting the second finger down. Think of it as your fingers are already down, and you're lifting off the third to reveal the second. Of course, if you put your instrument this way because it's too big for your shoulder, I'm not talking about 1, 2, and 3. I'm talking about 1, 3, and 4. 1, 3, 4. Before you play, check your Wilson. Take Wilson's brother over here, right into the corner of the fingerboard, reach that plucker across, and here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Repeat. Let's read E on the cello. Squish your Wilson. 1, 2, here we go. You'll notice that once you put your finger down, you don't really have to look at it. You're not going anywhere unless you move him. And we'll play walking song on the viola. 1, 2, walking song. Did you check your Wilson? You might have seen above this stuff on page 7, it starts to talk about your first bowing exercise. That's because bowing is coming up. And remember how I told you it's harder than the left hand thing? Like, there's more little tiny details that we have to be picky about? I'm not lying. The book backs me up. They're starting you on this bowing exercise before we even touch any of the bow stuff yet on the next 2 pages. So I know there's a couple of you out there that's really excited to start using the bow. And you've probably already used it, it's fine. I get it. I was you. I was looking ahead in the book when I was a kid. But the bow hold isn't something we can mess around with. We gotta make sure we're doing things just right, just like with this left hand thing. The pickier we are now, the less tears there's gonna be later when we start doing harder stuff and you're still trying to hold the bow like this. So check that thing out on shaping the bow hand in the book if you want. Next video, we're going to talk about it. Good luck on your rapids. Try to stay dry. We'll see you on the other side.